Okay, good morning. Good morning, good morning. It's time to do a yoga practice, and I'm so glad that you made some time for yourself to play. Bring your happy heart and whatever your body is feeling like today. So my plan for us is to start with some pranayama in a seated position. So make yourself comfortable. I'm going to sit on my mat with my blanket there, but you can sit in a chair or somewhere else if you'd rather. And then you can either use your hands on your body to feel the breath, or you can just sit mindful of the breath. I'm going to go over and sit on my mat, so my voice will be a little bit distant to you, but I think you'll do just fine. And then we'll go through some slow flows today to bring some energy into your week. So let us begin our practice. So we come to what's called samastiti. We come to the moment to be present. And so to be comfortable in whatever position you're choosing to begin and sit in, address your mula bandha, the pelvic floor energy, lifts, supports, and grounds you. It has that multi-purpose. That lower belly draws inward to support the spine and to help lift our spine against the pull of gravity, smushing things down. And then feel the vertebra and the disc create space. And as you do that, sometimes the shoulders draw up, so keep them relaxed, all the way up through the crown of your head. Now I'm sitting with my ankles crossed, but that might not be the best for you. The hands can either be open and in a mudra gesture, or the palms can be down, maybe lending a little extra support to your back and a more sense of grounding. And so now as you tune into your breath, with your eyes opened, lowered, or closed, we push away the distraction of the day as it unfolded this morning or as it will progress this afternoon. And maybe you can breathe through your nose, or maybe you're congested, so just notice what orifice you're breathing from. And the ease or the sensation. So maybe you feel a little coolness coming through the nasal passages. Maybe there's an auditory sound. If you know that Ujjayi breathing, the breathing that goes through your throat, kind of like Darth Vader, you can employ that to keep the auditory senses connected. And once you've settled on an auditory part of your breath, notice what physically is happening with the breath. Maybe you bring a little more intention to the exhalation as you press in on that abdominal wall to help push the air out. Maybe you're aware of the ribs inflating and spreading and the lifting of the posture as you inhale. Maybe you're aware your breath has slowed a little bit. And sometimes, but not every time, there could be a sense of lightheadedness because maybe you're getting more air than you're accustomed to. So taking in all the sensations of your breath, pranayama, the life force, for without the breath there is no life. Maybe you can pause that breath at every inhale and every exhale just for an instant. And as you return to that natural breath, and maybe flutter your eyes a bit open, we're going to open the mouth on the exhale, making an HA sound. It's okay, we're together. So you take your natural breath in and return to your natural breath. So sit for a moment in that natural breath, taking in all the sensations. And let's begin moving the upper torso. So the head, you can stay wherever you're sitting. Your head just turning from one side and the other, and see what you see. So take in your surroundings. Holding your face forward, allow your ear to drop gently from one side to the other. You can adjust your seating if you need to recross your legs or move differently. You can stay on one side or you can move more rapidly from one side to the other. You're noticing, gee, how did I sleep on my neck last night? Sometimes it's a little tighter on one side than the other. Nodding the chin and lifting the chest. Let me say it again. Nodding the chin, but lifting the chest rather than dropping the head back. So as you breathe out, a bowing of the head. And when you breathe in, a lifting of your chest. Bowing and lifting. Bonus, when you look down, check out the action of Uddiyana, tightening through the belly. Let's add a little bit with the arms. They're low. They're going to open up as I breathe in and go back, and then fall a little forward as I breathe out. Maybe that sensation of cat and cow for you, an arching and a folding. And you know I don't move that fast, so I'm just taking it all in and seeing how it feels. End up between those two places, so not arched, not folded forward, and now move in a circular position. So I find as I begin moving my body, my digestive system also comes into play. I'm moving things around, go a few times the other way. And so if that's happening to you, just know that's a part of the body. And moving things around in your tummy is probably good. All right, a full body twist, so one hand behind, shoulder leads back, and look off, and then maybe a little bit behind you. Come back center, we'll do the other arm a little bit back. That shoulder pulls back, that helps you turn and look a little behind you. And then let's do a variation on the twist. I'm going to have you come and sit on your mat if you're not there already. You can be on a blanket or just on the mat, it won't matter. So you're going to drop your knees to one side and then let the top knee come back to where the foot is. So you have a shin, a knee, and then the other foot comfortable. So there may be a tendency to collapse down. So I'm going to say lift and lengthen. And we're going to take the left arm as it looks to you and get very, very tall and look back. And I'm slightly pushing my left hip upward as I rotate around. Return back center, and you're still invested in your breath, right? So bringing the knees up, letting them fall over, taking that top knee, and you can reconfigure this to make your knees more comfortable, but mine just fall this way, so that's what I work with. Your left hand behind, your chest lifts up, you begin that pushing, and then let your right arm come around with your breath. Returning back center to Bandha Konasana, the cobbler's pose, as the bottom of the feet come together, placed wherever you would like to place them. You can grab hold of your ankles or your shins and sit up tall. This can be helpful for those who feel like you're collapsing back into your low back and on your tailbone to get up on a blanket. Otherwise, support yourself with the hands and become neutral so your back has that natural curve. Bringing the heart forward, you might come forward a little or sometimes not so much, so just see where you can go. And now from here, surrender. So bow the head, support the back with the hands as you bow your head down. Looking or maybe putting your head on your toes. Nice deep breaths here are wonderful. Tighten through your bandhas, slowly bring yourself up, hands go behind, knees will come up, and we're going to drop those knees gently from side to side. My hips are feeling rather tight today, so we will see how things progress. So as always, you be you. So if there are things going on with your body, you should honor those. Let's come on over to the hands and knees. Get yourself over onto your hands and knees. If you're on a hard floor, you might want extra padding. I'm just going to move my blanket off because I don't need extra padding. I have carpet in my mat, so that's good for me. And then hands, if you can, open and spread. If that's not working for you, knuckles, but with the thumbs forward. I was subbing a class last week and I noticed someone was on their knuckles, but they had their thumbs in, and that changed the shoulder. So make sure the thumbs, if you're using knuckles, are forward. Knees are under the hips. I know it seems better, we should have our knees together, but knees are under the hips and then onto the hands and the shoulders above the hands. Let's have the feet relaxed for the time being. And take a moment with your focus to the front edge of your mat to just notice. Yoga is a lot of awareness, don't you think? So you notice that the shoulders are anchored, that there's a pull from gravity on your belly. So rather than letting it sag down, support that pull with the action of Uddiyana. So it doesn't matter if you're upright or tipped over. You zip your zipper. Natural positioning for the pelvis. And let's go to that low back. So I'm going to swing my hips from side to side. It's kind of like a happy little puppy dog in slow motion. So don't confuse this with leaning from side to side. That would be different. So hold the upper body still and just let your hips swing from side to side. So this is a bit of isolation, and that's challenging for some of us. So what we're trying to do is get a little mobility through that spine. And part of that is our fascia, the skin under the skin. And it gets kind of plasticky like, so everything feels stiff. But just keep using it, keep moving with it, try, and it will improve. And just using the lower body, tuck the tailbone under, draw the belly button up. Keep focusing on the front edge of your mat so you don't use the upper body, and then stick up the tailbone. Breathing out when you tuck under the bum. Breathing in when you lift up the bum. Now for those of us with some issues in, what is it, L4, L5 back there, it shouldn't hurt, but you may feel that as the ligaments and tendons around that and the nerves are usually inflamed a bit. So you don't want to force into pain, but you may feel it. Don't think that you're doing something wrong, but do pay attention. So maybe you do things a little bit smaller if it feels too intense for you. All right, so a hula, a pelvic circle around. And I can kind of hear my bones cracking as I do this, and it's not painful, so I'm thinking it's okay, right? And then let's go the other direction. Now I don't move that fast because I need to be mindful. I don't want to put something in a position that's harmful, so I'm noticing as I move carefully around, and I'm feeling that it gets a little better. That as I move in this pattern, things kind of sort themselves out. All right, let's get off the hands for a minute and turn those toes, our bendy toes, under. And as your knees allow, you're going to walk back onto those bendy toes. And some people with knee issues are better with maybe a blanket or something behind so they can lean back, but it doesn't compress onto your knees. So if you need a prop, throw it in there. So I have my toes turned under. So our feet are very important to us. They help us get our bearings on the ground. But sometimes we do things with our feet, like I wore some heeled boots Saturday, and so the arch of my foot felt different. It's recovered, but you know, our feet changes, and the shoes that we put over our feet can make a difference. So this is a good thing to stretch the fascia in the bottom of our foot. If you need breaks, you take breaks. I'll remind you of your bandhas and your breath. So we'll let the feet relax, and we're going to come and do some stuff with our hands where we turn our wrist. So I'm going to come back onto all fours. You can leave your toes under. They may be stuck that way, or relax your toes. And now I'm just going to turn one wrist under, not putting any weight on it. In fact, I can't really even straighten my elbow that much. And then put it back and just switch. So I see my palm upward. Bandhas and breath, yes. Next time you come to that first arm, see if you can stay there a little bit more. Maybe try and straighten the elbow. Let's move to the second arm. Now if you back up a little bit onto your knees, you won't have the weight on your hands because you'll be kind of pitched out, but you have a little bit of pressure on your wrist. This may not be something you want to do, so you can always have one hand down. Sliding forward onto my forearms, sliding my toes back. Low plank, so chin up, look beyond your fingers, hips are not high, hips are not low. Engage your inner thighs, maybe think of holding a pillow between your thighs, anchor your shoulder and feel that you're waking up your core. Find your breath to support. Slowly coming down, this is an order thing. So the knees come down, relax your toes. Slowly lower the thighs only to the pelvis, to the pubic bone. And don't let your belly come down. As you draw the shoulders down and lift the chest, you may feel this is a bit much for your back. So rather than elbows under the shoulders, you're going to slide your arms more forward, still holding that belly up, gazing outward, shoulders down. So mitigate the amount of curve in your back that you need today. You can still do this, and I think it's good to keep extension. as long as we're not aggravating, something like stenosis, where there's already some narrowing there. So I could do out here, lift my chest. I feel absolutely no pressure in my low back because I'm not bending into it. I'm supporting it with my action of Uddiyana. I'm cultivating some strength in my shoulders. Now let your belly relax on the floor. Stay where you are, just relax your belly. Oh my gosh, right away I feel my back. So zip your zipper. I'm not saying the hips come up, just zip your zipper. And you can change, you can improve that. Lowering my body down, my hands come under my shoulders. Yes, you can do this with your knuckles. I'm going to lift the hips up just enough that a hand could come under my hip bone. Keep the hips up. Come on, we can do this. Lift the chest up and pause. So I'm on a slant. I'm not on my all fours. I've just come up. I'm light on my knees. Now I'm going to go down in the same way. Chest and hips come at the same time, not letting those hips lower. The elbows go in and I touch down softly. Again, lifting up my hips, shoulders are down, elbows are hugged in. Keeping those hips up, applying pressure, just try. And going back down for one more time. Bottoms up, elbows in, shoulders down. Apply pressure. This time let's move into child's pose. I'm parting my knees. My hips are going back where it's comfortable. And I may want to leave my arms out in front right here and just kind of squirm around. Rolling myself up. Lifting my chest, I'm kind of perched out where I was. Now lift up the hips, pull the belly in, and stretch back. Going up, leaning out, lifting up the hips, and drawing back. See if you can figure out this pattern so that it works for you. My knees are wide, by the way. They're a little bit wider. Figure out how your breath supports the pattern. I say one more, where your back comes up, like the cat pose. And not coming all the way back, but walking your hands back. Pay attention to your blood pressure. Try not to use your hands, though you certainly can, as you come and stand up. Clear your mat of any props, so we can do a little bit of stretching. Now, if you needed a block, or I used to use a box here. You can have blocks nearby, so that if you're coming up and you need a little support, you can go here or here. So you can keep those at the front of your mat if you wish. Tadasana. Let's be a mountain. Rooting the feet, engaging the thighs, addressing our bandhas. Not letting the hips tuck under, but also not letting them fall back out. Feel the spine lift, the shoulders relax, and the fingers to the earth. We love this pose. It's very good for our posture. As the arms reach out in front, you engage through the core, just out in front. So I don't know, how much do you think an arm weighs? A pound or two? So you've got this weight and it's being loaded into your back. Now raise the heels a little. And now let the arms come up overhead as shoulders allow, staying perched on the balls of the feet. And don't worry if you step out of it, that often happens. As the arms come down and the heels come down, My arms will sweep back behind me with the pinky finger up and the thumb down. My knees will bend and I'm going to hinge outward. This is very much like my gardening pose. Then I'm going to go back up again. So as the arms come forward, I go through Tadasana, arms extended, raising the heels, and then raising the arms. So playing with my balance early on in my practice, lowering myself back down. Now you can go ahead and do this on your own. We don't have to do this at the same time. Next time you come to that forward fold, let's hold on there. We'll all get over. And your hands are back behind you, right? So you can either lace the fingers or just grab the hands. Let the head drop down. Let the arms come up off your back, possibly. So your knees most likely will be bent. Releasing the arms, putting them above your knees onto your thigh. Let's straighten the legs and the arms as we move into the bookshelf pose. Now I get that straightening the elbows seems a little hard, but if you lift the chest, lean forward in your toes, feel that your sit bones are spreading, extending your heart forward, it kind of wakes up your hamstrings a little, doesn't it? Lean into your toes. Now I'm going to ask a little bit more, and this is probably not for anybody who has some low back issues. We'll do one arm at a time, and then don't do two arms if you know you're compromised in your back. So one arm will go here. It's called the airplane. Bring that arm down. Let the other arm go out. Now, for those of you who are not going to take two arms off, you go do the one arm variation and switch. Otherwise, if you feel you can take both arms out, look at that big load that you're asking to strengthen your back. Everybody bring the hands back to the knees, bend the knees, drop the head, mindfully lift your spine until you're back at Tadasana. Hands on your hips, bending the knees and leaning a little forward. Figure out your right leg from your left leg. Let the right leg step back or slide back. Then go further. So I'm only about halfway through my mat. I want to get about 3/4 of the way through. And leaning forward allows me to do this. That is the key, which I've said for years. Then use your thumbs to push the pelvis forward, and you begin to feel the front of that thigh open. If you're very tight here, you may not be able to come up very far. So if you have to straighten the leg a little to help, I'd rather you be perpendicular with torso, and then you can come back and work to bend that knee. Oh. And then squeeze that leg straight. So these get rather tight here. I am on the ball of the back foot. This is my wobbly pose, the crescent pose. Once again, lean forward. This time that back heel is going to drop. My toe is more angular rather than straight out to the side of the long end of the mat, but more up on the diagonal. I begin to feel my calf. My thumbs again here to support me. Push the pelvis forward and bring the spine up into the pelvis. And as you roll onto that pinky toe rather than big toe side of the back foot, you may notice a pull more into the groin rather than the top of the thigh, a little more inside. As we establish Virabhadrasana 1, with the hips forward, the chest forward, and the front knee is really bent, commit to your lunge, la la la. Breathe. As you lengthen your spine forward, put your left hand on your left leg, reach your right arm out in front of you. As the right arm goes up, your body turns and you reach back. Keep looking forward as you bend the front knee and lift the front arm over the knee, warrior two. What has changed is my body has moved to the long end of the mat. Pay no attention to that burning feeling in your left thigh. Bring the back arm around and your hip as I come back to warrior one, where my hips and chest are forward. Flip your back heel up, lean forward as you step into a chair pose. And remember, chair pose can have the arms out, the arms in, or the arms up. Drop the arms, push the hips forward, let the hands come from behind. As you inhale, the arms come all the way up, the palms come together, and put the hands at the heart. And you don't need to move, I just needed to be on this side so you could see better. Other side, and you'll be really happy to stretch the left thigh out now, won't you? Hands on the hips, Tadasana. Bend the knees, hinge or tip forward. And now left foot's going to step back at that hip distance and then go further, further, further. Remain on the ball of the foot. Keep the front knee bent. Press your thumbs into the low back and lift up until you feel that you're kind of perpendicular, torso-wise. Squeeze the back knee. Feel the front thigh. Front knee is bent. You breathe, you sink down to get grounded. Leaning forward, drop the back heel, turning it slightly in, toe diagonally out, bandhas and breath, hips stay forward again, push the pelvis forward, raise the spine to sit in that pelvis, roll onto pinky toe side, Virabhadrasana 1. Feel that your chest and your hips are oriented toward the short end of the mat. Explore the sensations. Leaning forward, right hand on right thigh, left arm is forward. As that left arm goes over and reaches behind you, you feel the body turning to the long end of the mat. Raise the front arm over the front leg, Virabhadrasana 2. Shoulders are down. Breath is easy. Bandhas support you. Bringing the back arm around, feeling that hip come with you until both arms are forward. Bend your front knee, commit to the lunge. Raise the back heel up to the crescent pose. Step forward into chair pose. Drop the arms, push the hips forward, let the arms come from behind, all the way up, join the palms together. Exhale the hands into the heart. So I'm going to throw in a chaturanga, the little push-up where we go all the way down. You can go on your toes, you can go on your knees. You can do a baby cobra, cobra up dog. Or you can just, when we go down, make your way into child's pose. And then join us in downward facing dog when we get there. You be you. Be the mountain. Lift the arms as you breathe in. Bend the knees and touch the earth as you breathe out. Lift the chest as you breathe in and drop your hips. Right or left foot steps back into your plank or push-up position. From your knees or from your toes, elbows in, lower down. Relax the toes, a baby cobra, a cobra, an upward facing dog as you wish. Exhale down. Toes under, hips up as we did before with the knees down or with your thighs up. Press off the mat, downward dog, adjust your feet. When I say adjust the feet, I've moved my feet forward a little. In your first down dog, notice how your back is feeling. Tight hamstrings, tightness in the back can prevent you from keeping those legs straight and getting a nice apex in your down dog. So why don't you try bending the knees a little bit and see if that gives you a little grace, a little ease in your back. Raise your heels really high. Bend your knees, look forward, and then you can walk, take one step. Some people jump up to where the hands are. Lay the body on your thighs. Put the hands on or around your calves. Bowing over, laying the body down, trying to straighten the legs. Usually this doesn't happen for me very easily. Release, watch your blood pressure as you rise up. If you feel dizzy, sit down. As you exhale, put the hands into the heart. And once more, inhale, arms lift, and a swan dive feeling going forward where the knees bend and the hands touch the earth. Dropping the hips and lifting the chest. Either foot walks back until you're in that plank position. From knees, from toes, elbows in, chin up, down you go. Relax the feet. Baby cobra, cobra, up dog you go. Exhale down. Toes under, hips up from knees or from toes as you wish, or just go to child's pose. Pushing up into downward dog. Adjusting your feet. Maybe this time we walk our dog so that one knee bends and one leg straightens. Raise both heels, bend the knees, look forward, walk, step, or jump softly to the hands. Drop the hips, lift the chest, hands on or around your calves. Bow over into Uttanasana. Release and rise carefully all the way up. Join the palms, hands into the heart. I'm going to turn to face you. We're going to do simple three-point balance pose. It's simple three-point balance pose. Now there are some variations and we'll move into them slowly. Stand on your left leg as it looks to you. Bend your right knee. Now put that foot back down again and maybe notice this time when you raise the right leg, if you did this, if you kind of sunk into that hip on your left leg. So keep pulling up out of it. Now you've got good stable foundation. Maybe you leave the toe down. Maybe you lift the foot up. So right hand over the right leg, left arm out to your side. If you wanted more, turn your head and look down your left arm. And you breathe. If you turned your head, come back center, both arms and your foot come down, Tadasana. Did you get that nice feeling? So hold on to that when we do the other side. Hands to heart. Shift your weight into your right leg and bend the left knee. Careful not to sink. Pull up. You can leave this toe down. You can lift your foot up. So left arm over left leg. Right arm to your side. Shoulders down. Energy reaching away. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you turn your head. Maybe your toe is on the floor. Maybe your foot is off the floor. Find your breath, hold on to the calm. If you turned your head, bring your eyes center, bring the arms and bring the foot back down. Let's take a moment and just do a little figure 8 with the hips. That's all about core. That's where your balance comes from, is the core. So we're going to do a counter pose for this. Feel free to use a wall, a mantle, whatever might be handy to you. Now we know the dancer pose means the same hand holds the same foot and the other arm reaches straight up. Not to be confused with the bow pose. So the dancer pose, this is not what we're going to do like this. And then if I did the bow, I would be kicking into it. So that's my dancer pose. So we're going to do the standing cross dancer. So it's going to be easier, I think, for you to access that foot. It's hard for some people to grab the foot. There can be cramping, just saying. So if you needed to be near something, feel free to hold on. And we're going to stand on one foot. You make it work for you, whichever foot gives you the support. And then you're going to bring the other foot behind. And the foot coming behind is going to be grabbed by the other hand. So your right foot, your left arm. Then you're going to bring yourself square so the heel is more to your bum, and then extend the arms straight up. And if you saw that from the side, it would be this motion, this motion, this motion to this motion. And all I need are my knees side by side. So figure out how to get the foot up, the knees together, and the arm up, and not fall over. And breathe. Release the high arm, release the foot, stand in Tadasana. For those of you using something to hold on to, maybe you need to turn around. So other side, take my left leg behind, reach up and grab it. Stand up tall, reorient the heel to the same bum, and then reach up with the arm. Knees are close together. Still breathe. Don't worry if you step out of it, come back, try it again, it happens. High hand comes down, release the foot. Again, a few figure 8s. Let's position yourself on the long end of the mat. And if you have a book or a block. I'm reading a book that feels like it's about that big. So I'm going to separate my feet here. You do not have to use the block if you don't have one. You always have your legs, so I will introduce that variation first. This is a little bit more for our hamstrings, so walk those feet out. Remember, my guideline is edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat, Mula Bandha. The arms go up, the fingers point down toward the toes. So if you're close, that's good. You don't want to be too far, most likely you'd be too shallow, and that makes going forward really hard. So get those feet open. And then there's those who go so far open it makes everything really easy. So you want to be Goldilocks just right. Hands come to the small of the back. Mula Bandha, action of Uddiyana. So we lift the heart. You do not have to bend back. You can just lift the heart and look outward. Some people will kind of let the hips go forward and look upward, and some go way far back. So wherever up is for you, inhale up. As you exhale, the hands slide above the knees like the bookshelf pose. Lean forward into your toes. You'll feel things happening as you lean out. Now maybe this is enough. Maybe the back of your legs go, whoo, this is good enough. Maybe you have 1 or 2 blocks there that you can go a little bit lower on. Maybe you want to turn your block a little bit lower or lower still. Maybe you're the person that can put the hands on the floor. Thank goodness for variety. Maybe if your hands come onto the floor, you can put your head on that block or on the floor. Breathe into the backs of your legs. It would be best if the legs stayed straight rather than bent. Imagine the giant pillow between the legs. Put the hands up on your hips. Squeeze that big pillow to support your back as you rise up. Pay attention to blood pressure. Stay here or do another little back bend as you breathe in and lift. As you exhale forward this time, take the hands into bind, grabbing or lacing the fingers as you wish. Lean forward with the heart. Let the arms come up. Let the head either hang or go to the earth. Check your breath. Hands to the small of your back. Again, squeeze that pillow. Be smart as you rise. Weight at the top or another little back bend. Now our third one, for those who can, you can either use the hands on the thighs, on the shins, or for those who can, a 2-finger lock, not using your thumbs. Grab the big toe on both sides. Don't use your thumbs on the floor, lock it in. And then use your hands to pull on the toes like they're little handlebars. Now not everybody can do that, so you can still just go here or here. You're just in that forward fold. One more time. This time, hands on your thighs, drop your head, bend your knees, slowly roll yourself up. And walk your feet together. And do the hokey pokey and shake it all about. Okay, it's time for us to come down onto the mat. So we try and go down and come up without using the mat. Should we try that together? I don't know if I can do it. Let's just see how it goes. Any variation. So, the one they recommend the most, make sure there's nothing behind you in case you sit down or roll back. So if you're able to do the cross the legs, sit down, and then get back up. That doesn't happen for everybody because there's hips and knees and back issues, right? But they do say not using your hands is a predictor of longevity. I don't know if that's true, but what if you got down this way? And then got back up that way. Have you played with that? How variations you can get down, because it's always easy to do this. Yeah. I think the one that's the most interesting is when I have people on the floor and the way they get up is this way. Yeah. And that's a lot for the back. That's my getting up from the garden pose. So we come down onto the mat. Okay. So I have a towel today. I should have mentioned that you'd need a towel. Does that mean you need to get up again and go get a towel? Or do you have a yoga strap with you? So we're gonna sit. Now you don't have to sit here. You can sit in a chair if you'd rather. You can sit on a block. In fact, maybe I'll just sit on my block. I remember when I had some knee issues, I had like water on the knee. I couldn't sit like this, so. Some days you can sit like this and some days you can't or you shouldn't. So does everybody have a strap or a towel? So I will hold it from the corners to make it a little less thick. This is a thicker towel. I'll roll it up. So this is half of Gomukhasana, happy cow face pose. It's designed to open the interior of the shoulders. Now we just did a few things where we had our arms behind, so we're kind of maybe prepared. Maybe you could do your shoulders around in circles a few times. I'm waiting for those of you who went to get a towel. So there are some legs that go with this. We're just going to focus on the shoulders. Now some of you perhaps won't need a strap or towel. You say, oh wait, is this the one where the hand goes back and I grab? I can grab my hands. Well then you just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go through a stepwise fashion. I find it gets me there where I want to be in proper form. So I'm going to hold a towel, or if you're using a yoga strap, hold the buckle in your hand so you don't hit yourself with it. So put it in your right hand and toss it over your right shoulder. Use your left hand to place the right elbow by your face. So the opening of your tricep. Now it'll be the anterior of what will be your left shoulder. So right now this towel is hanging down my back. Your left arm goes out, the thumb is down, the palm is facing backwards. As you bend that elbow, you see there's a big space under your arm. Slide the elbow in, grab the towel, and work the hand up. Now you may get the other hand, or you may just be somewhere on the towel. And you breathe. If you wanted a little more, and you were seated in a fashion that allowed it to happen, you could lean a little forward. Slowly coming up, release the hand that's behind and release the arm that's above. Take the towel or the strap into each hand. You do not have to go all the way over your head, though you may be able to. You're going to let the arms go up and back, and up and down, and up and back. And one more. And now we'll do the other side, Gomukhasana. Hold it in your left hand over your shoulder, elbow by your side. Right arm, thumb down, bend the elbow in, slide it up against the body, grab the towel, walk the hands toward one another. Breathe into the front of the shoulder below. If there's space, move forward. And you come all the way up, the low arm releases and the high arm releases. Yeah. All right, I'm going to use this towel on my hip opener. So as I come to lay down, make sure you can see me, otherwise stay seated until you know what we're doing. You may not need this towel. It's an arm extender. It'll make a loop to make your ankle closer to you. This one is the other half of Gomukhasana. So Gomukhasana is this. This is the cow's lips. This is the cow's lips. So most people have difficulty doing this seated, but there's a good way to do it and protect your back by laying down. So when I lay down, and you can watch a moment, I'll have my legs up. I'm going to pull my pant legs up so you can see what's going on down here. And I'm going to cross one knee over the other. The leg that's behind is the one I might not be able to grab. So what I would do is like throw a towel over the ankle, and then I can hold the ends of the towel. So when I get here, I'll lift up my head, chest, and shoulders. So maybe I grab at the knees if I didn't have a towel. Maybe I get my ankles, and if I can't get my feet, I'm not going to twist my feet. I'm going to let my feet remain as natural as possible. Then my head goes down, my back goes up, which meant my bum went down. And then if I wanted more, I would apply a little pressure onto my feet downward. So come to your back if you're not there already. So let's do the same leg. My reference to us will be the same that way. So cross your right knee over your left knee. So you need to have space in the inner thigh. And don't let the knees bend so that the feet flop down to your backside. Kind of hold them up so you can see one foot's going one way and one foot's going the other way. Lift your head, neck, and shoulder and reach out towards your knees. Now, if you know you cannot get that foot, that's when you're going to take the strap or the towel, throw it over your ankle, and then you have a better chance of holding on to it. Maybe you can get your ankles, maybe you can get your feet. Remember, the feet are not down here, they're up here. Put the head back down, nodding the chin. Drop the tailbone so there's a slight arch in your low back, and stay here as you breathe. Now we know hips are a thing where one side might be more available. Some of you may feel this in hips, some of you more in glutes, so enjoy the ride. If you have that towel or strap, just let it go on the floor. Bring both legs up, the knees together. Lift the head so the hands are behind your head. Two things will happen. Your legs will move towards your head and your head towards your legs. Your head goes back, but not to the floor. Your legs go out. They can be on the high side. They could be on the medium side. They can be on the lower side. So the breath out when you're efforting. So breath out when you're tucked in, breath in, and then breath out again when you're extending. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Your mantra is rest your head in your hands. My head never goes on the floor. That'll be helpful if you have like a vertigo thing going on. Okay, next time the knees come in, go ahead and put your head down. Cross your left knee over your right knee. Push the feet out to the sides of your mat. Lift your head, neck, shoulder. Either grab at the knees, down at the ankles, to the feet. Once you have that, head goes down, hips go down, low back comes up. And breathe. Watch where your feet are, don't let them drop. Try not to twist your ankles. Is there a little space under your back? Slowly release the feet. This time I'm going to do a bridge pose. I have this towel here, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to take the towel and put it over my shins or my ankles. Set my feet down, feet parallel, knees parallel, as if I'm doing a regular bridge pose. Now, you do not have to use the towel or a strap. You just put your hands on the floor. I think this closed chain is just a nice experience. Once upon a time, we used to always be asked to hold our own ankles. That's a little much for people, especially if you have some back considerations. So I'm laying on my back. This is feeling pretty good. Mula Bandha, yeah. Action Uddiyana, yeah. Press into the feet, elevate the hips. Now, even if you're holding a towel or a strap, you can still snug those shoulders in to go as high as you want. Most people will want to close their eyes, but I like to keep them open and monitor my breath. If you feel undue pressure on your back, put more weight into your arms to support the back. If you have a towel or a strap, just let it go. Unsnug the shoulders if they were tucked in as you draw down the chest, the middle back, finally the lower back, and then you release to neutral. Bring the knees into the reclined Bandha Konasana, bottom of the feet together. Option 1, just let your elbows push the knees outward. If you want to take the towel, make a little pillow, you can. For those who leaned a little more, again, you can use the 2-finger lock option if the legs can fully straighten to the side. If they don't fully straighten, try letting go of the toes and holding your calves or even your inner thighs. And what about the low back? Could you put a little space down below there? Ooh, that's lovely. Go ahead and bend in the knees. Set the feet down and find the edges of the mat with your feet. Can you just kind of feel that? Arms off to the side. Very gently let your knees drop to one side. And then let go. So the leg off to the side, make sure it's really relaxed. Gently open that other hip. So I'm going to raise the leg that's on the top side first, then the one that's down on the floor second. Let my legs go the other way. Relax both of them. You might be surprised that they're holding a little tension. Fall back into your breath. Again, bring the top leg up first, the bottom leg up second. Bring the knees in. Let's circle the ankles around a little bit, working with our feet. Rolling onto one side, making a pillow out of your bottom arm. Knees are stacked. Feet come out in line with the knees, so not back by your bum, bring them out. Raise the top arm. Let that top arm fall back. Look to that top arm. Bend the top arm, gently roll onto your back, and do the other side. Now you can just roll over. To keep my voice coming towards you, I'm going to move to the other side. Knees are in front, make a little pillow, feet are out with the knees, top arm is high. Let the arm fall back. Oh, there's something in my way. Good time to take deep breaths. Bend the top arm, roll onto your side. So we're going to set up for Shavasana. If you have that towel nearby, and I don't know, the sun comes out and then it goes away and it comes out. But if you want to, if you have an eye pillow, those are great. But otherwise you could put this over your eyes, kind of block out things. Or you could pretend you'd like the sunshine and you want it into your face. So you're going to find a position that's comfortable for you. You could put a blanket over you. You could put your socks or your slippers back on. Get yourself into a comfortable position for Shavasana. So as you transition, this is an important part of our practice. I always emphasize that. And that's because it is. You know, our life is filled with multitasking. There's so much that goes on in our life. And so learning to push away those distractions and having the time to really practice that, not just doing it for an instant, but having a few minutes, which we do today. So get yourself comfortable, and no doubt there's going to be something. Someone's going to be blowing a blower or power washing, or a truck's going to go by. So all of those sounds are the sounds of life, or you may hear the robins out there, or the wind, or whatever the sounds are around your space, or somebody in the house is making a phone call. So those are the things you're going to work to put at bay. And then you're going to find a place inside yourself. Now, some of you I know meditate, so you might be able to use some of those techniques. So once you're in the position of your choosing, take a moment to relax the body. Maybe as you close your eyes, you start feeling the weight of the head and the relaxed jaw, the heaviness of the shoulders, and the weight of the torso, the hips and all that we've done for them, the heaviness of your legs. You should feel safe. This time we invest in ourselves is a gift that we give others by knowing where that internal calm is, because certainly the buttons get pushed, don't they? And so as you lay in this quietness, and the monkeys begin to jump around in your mind, remember you can always go to the mountain, sit at the beach, watch the river, smell the desert, be with your breath. Wait in this quiet place until the singing bell welcomes you back. Allow this time to be yours. And so we deepen our breath. We wiggle our fingers and toes to awaken the body. Blessing ourselves with that moment of time where we either found with grace, calm and ease, or we struggled to find that path. Whatever your course of action, remember that quiet place. Use it when you need to. And you can stay as you are, or you can roll on your side as I share some thoughts. Today, one from Jesse Jackson. Both tears and sweat are salty, but they render a different result. Tears will get you sympathy. Sweat will get you change. It takes a lot of energy to whine and complain about how unfair things are, energy we are often too willing to expand. And maybe we're right. Maybe we really have been treated unfairly. Maybe someone has it in for us. Maybe it's raining on the day we wanted to take a picnic. Well, we'd do better to figure out how to turn this situation into something positive, and we'd annoy less of our friends, we think. Well, our thought today is if I'm tempted to complain and cry when things don't go my way, I can get myself moving instead. So maybe I need to work harder or try something different or just change my plans. Chances are whatever I need to do is simple and well within my control. So with that little reminder, bring yourself up to a seated position. And as you sit nice and tall and mindful, be it on the floor or in a chair, wherever you are, be attentive to your bandhas, to your breath, that compassion in your heart, and your connection to the greater whatever. So as those arms stretch out to the sides of your space and you raise them up above and join them together, we put the hands at the heart, and this is where we share that word that means the best in me honors the best in you. We say, Namaste. I'm so thankful that you came today. I wish you a good rest of your day. Ooh, the sun is out. Or whatever you're going to do for the rest of the week. So always open to questions and comments. Namaste.